So this was number 4. Let us start with mantra. Om Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama anisthaha shrutam me ma prahasi Anena dhitena horatran samdadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadvaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu vaktaram avatu vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, Prayate Agne Surayo Jaye Mahi Pratevayam. Prayate Agne Suraya Jaye Mahi Pratevayam. Apanach Shoshuchad Agham. That thy seers, Surayach, Te Surayach, of flame divine Agni, may multiply, and we be newborn as thine. Pratevayam, burn away from us the sin. My interpretation is similar forward. I'm just going literally. Pra, forward, or Agni. May we be born forward as your luminous seers, as your beings, as thine newborn, belonging to you. Illumine our darkness and narrowness away. Is there a way to say illumine away? Shine in such a way that it will fade away or something? We have to create new words. Apa means away, shoshuchat, illumine. Illumine away, literally. So remove the darkness in a way. This we saw, and then we go to number 5. Prayatagne sahasvato vishvato yanti bhanavah apanach shoshuchad agham. When the flaming rays of thy might rush abroad on every side violently, burn away from us the sin. Forward, I'm literally translating, pra, and in all directions, vishvatah, or from all directions, move your powerful and luminous flames. Moving your powerful and luminous flames, yanti, sahasvatah bhanavah, or Agni, illumine and burn our darkness and narrowness away. Darkness and narrowness, I put them together as Agham, because Agha is from Amh, we discussed this. It's a kindred root to the narrowing down from here, Ahi also. The python, the snake, who is narrowing our light, our space, and that creates the darkness. We can also translate it differently. Burn your flames, forward your flames, move when they arrive full of power from all sides. Why I'm saying this, because Rishi put it in such an order. Pra, forward, yanti, moving, yad, when, or of Agni, of powerful one, the flames from all sides. Literally, yes? When the flames are from all sides, encompassing all, taking all into its own embrace, then forward they move. Interesting. So it implies this idea of fully giving oneself to Agni, leaving nothing for oneself beyond his treatment or reach, care, beyond his care. And then it continues in a similar manner.
Can it,
Huh?
sorry,
Yes,
sorry, I
yes.
don't mean to interrupt, but
No,
a
no,
thought
please.
came to my mind. I thought I'd ask you. Agni also, I mean, here I know it implies the God, the power, the force. But can it also mean that when we are surrounded by challenges on all sides, it is only then that we progress?
This is a psychological interpretation
Oh, okay.
of burning from
Yes,
the resistance and
yes.
increasing the heat of resistance in us. And
Tapas.
yes, then we progress. Yes, so in a way, it's a negative explanation of the positive movement.
Correct. Okay, but it can be applied. I mean, can I think it can also imply that when
Yeah, they don't speak about being surrounded by darkness, then Agni grows. They speak about being surrounded by flames of Agni. Yes?
so the
Then,
flames can also be challenges and difficulties and hardships.
not in the, as far as I know, in the Veda, Agni is always
Okay,
resolution of resistance rather than resistance itself.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Agni is never in a negative sense, is taken as something which obstructs our movement.
Uh-huh, got it.
Well, all right. So very similar verse, that's why I jumped into the next, because they go together. Tvam hi vishvato mukha. Oh, vishvato mukha is a vocative. Vishvatach paribhurasi apanach shoshuchadagham. God, thy faces are everywhere. Thou besiegest us on every side with thy being. Burn away from us the sin. So it kind of re-emphasizes that idea of being surrounded by flames. For your face is seen from all sides. Yes, Kinshuk.
Yeah, Vladimir, I had one question regarding this from all sides or from all directions.
Mm-hmm.
What would directions really mean over here?
Well, it means we live in space, yes? We are spatial beings. Our being is separated from other beings by space.
Okay.
So that idea of embodied state, where space is the part of our life, is important in this vision of, I think, as spiritual, how to say, aspiration. When the spiritual aspiration is not taking you totally, but partially, you have gaps. Mother speaks about the gaps in the being. Yeah? So when you have the gap somewhere, so here you are fully aspiring, and there or there somewhere you have a gap.
Okay.
And through
Okay.
that gap, the anti-divine forces make reach and come and destroy your sacrifice. They speak about this destruction of the sacrifice all the time later in the post-Vedic period. You remember in Ramayana,
Right.
Vishwamitra came to take Rama to kill the Rakshasas, not to disturb his sacrifice. They may disturb, they may also create the gap to enter into the sacrifice and to mar the sacred transformation, so to say, to delay it or to stop it or to obstruct it. Because the transformation of the unregenerated being into the divine is a very powerful event, and it requires total surrender and dedication, and everything has to be given to the flame. And if it is not, if there is a gap in somewhere in the being, then it will be a problem. I think this is a fundamental notion, that we have to be fully surrendered, give fully oneself without reservation, as Sri Aurobindo says, without any leaving anything for yourself anywhere. In Savitri, he speaks beautifully about this, when he was with fire, you remember, searching for any resistance and
Yes.
torn the roots,
Yes.
bleeding roots, that some hiding below somewhere,
Yes.
which was waiting for its occasion to resist, to not to give oneself, and offered the vacant space to the gods. So this is what is to be done in order for us to transform ourselves. So here, this emphasis is so powerful. Yes, Vishvatomukha, whose faces are everywhere. Actually, we can use him in that sense. Everything can be given to him for transformation, but really everything. That's why he is Vishvatomukha. His face is everywhere. All things of our life can be given. So here is, for your face is seen from all sides, you are present all around. Paribhuh asi, burn away and illumine our darkness and narrowness. The importance of Agni, to be all around, to occupy all space, and to leave no gap in the being, is emphasized again and again. We have this phrase, it's a common phrase by the rishis, and this is the hymn by Kutsangirasa, but we have from this Madhuchanda, yes, Vaishwamitra. So in the this is first hymn, of the Rig Veda. Agneyam yajnamadvaram vishvatav paribhurasi saideveshu gacchati. So, O Agni, that sacrifice pilgrimage which you take from all sides, that indeed goes to the gods. So that can be transformed. If it is not taken from all sides, then we will have a delay, problem, fight, struggle, and maybe even defeat. Many times we have those defeats because we have gaps. We allow those ordinary forces to survive. We do this ourselves. We don't want to give everything of ourselves to the divine flame. We want to reserve something for our own. Or we are afraid, or something in us is not ready, says, yeah, let us see, I will do this, and then when I have nothing to lose, then I will come to the divine and will give everything before dying. But a little living force in me, I will spend for my own selfishness. Sorry. Yeah. That's what Mother speaks about the ashramites, saying that half of them can go, the ashram will not miss any one of them. They all came because they want a ticket to heaven, and kind of buying ticket to heaven. They lived their selfish life all their lives, got their money, everything, and now they all came, put white cloths, and and sitting there waiting for the ticket. They're even ready to share some expenses with the ashram, give some donations. This is a real problem of our life. We were not living for the divine. At the end, we are afraid what will happen then. So there is someone in us who is like this, because life is given for enjoyment, for this vital energy, for fulfillments of different parts of our being which are not yet divine. And so we want to experience them, to build them up. So there is nobody to blame. It's not a blame, it's just a fact. But here, this is a full understanding. Only that sacrifice pilgrimage goes to the gods, which you take from all sides. There is no gap. You have to embrace it totally, take totally into yourself, then it can be transformed. Well, yeah, even knowing this, it doesn't really make us do it, because it's a capacity of the being. We can do only with those parts which are ready to be given. But step by step, we go forward and build.
Vladimir, you had said once that this word sacrifice, which has always puzzled me, is a sense of emptying of oneself. Is that the right way to look at it?
Oh, from one side, emptying that, preparing the space for the divine force to enter and to settle, yes. But it's rather, sacrifice is the process of transformation of our selves, yeah, our forces, our thoughts, our feelings, our physical being. This process of transformation is done by the power from above. Actually, this is an amazing part of the Veda, that this power from above, which is always invoked by the rishis, they invoke the forces from above, divine forces, to come down and to take charge of ourselves, yes, is found only in the integral yoga afterwards. Later in the post-Vedic literature, you will notice that there is a shift. This descent from above becomes less and less vivid, less and less popular or something. And more we speak about Kundalini Shakti rising from below. We speak about some samadhi or some nirvana or some siddhis, but no more the descent from above. It somehow disappears. You don't find it in the literature. You don't find it in Tantra. You don't find it anywhere.
It's so interesting that Sri Aurobindo's yoga is a top-down yoga,
Right.
a descent with the offering from below and the descent from above.
Right. That's what I wanted to say, exactly this. So here they are totally matching, the Vedic yoga and Sri Aurobindo's yoga. So, and that's why it is so easy for us to read with Sri Aurobindo's background. We are always anticipating this descent. We always look for this force to come down. And what Agni does, it's the one who offers, yeah, who calls to those forces and brings them down and sacrifices those forces. It's another view which is very powerful in the Veda. Now, Sri Aurobindo doesn't speak this way because it would confuse everyone that Agni sacrifices the gods here. But literally, that's what Agni does. He brings the divine forces into down to act upon us. Yes, and that is a great sacrifice for the divine. They don't want to come. It's a very painful for them to come into this darkness and to burn and to work here. But he commands them. He is the divine will. They obey his will. So our call, real, true call, sincere aspiration, actually brings down the forces, the answer. This is the key to this idea. Of course, if it is not sincere, it's not Agni, it's something else. It's an imitation of Agni, and then the grace is not obliged to come. By the way, not every call is answered also, even sincere. This is something we have to also understand, that it's not mechanical. It's not something that I have sincere call, I must have an answer. It's always a grace. And sometimes insincere call may be answered.
So,
Although
Vladimir, how do we differentiate then?
we don't, we can't. We can't differentiate. We just receive the grace and we feel it and we know that it is there, or we don't. We imitate grace for some other reasons, for some other gains in life. Yes, many people do this. Religions, just look at the religions. They all do this. They perform. This is a performance. And sometimes that performance also can be taken by grace and can answer to the performance itself. Because grace does not depend on this. It is something by itself doing things. It's amazing just to think about it. It may come to very, very unexpected way to someone who is not calling outwardly. But inwardly there is a flame of the truth which wants to manifest. And grace recognizes it and comes to it. And then the being is opening up, and feels the call. Before he didn't feel the call, but after grace came, he started to feel the call.
There is one chapter in Secret of the Veda, I think, where there's a rishi who is calling down Indra and saying, "Okay, I have done whatever you told me to do, and now let us go and get the jewels or whatever." Then Indra tells him, "No, because something in the universe is not okay, so we got to start all over again." Something like that, I remember in the Secret of the Veda, I
Yeah,
think.
there are so many varieties of relations, and yeah, it's not a mechanical thing. It's not that I did what you asked me to do, now it's your turn
Now,
to pay me back. Yeah, that's what usually our vital exchange, our vital craving does. Yes, that bargaining with the divine. I do what you ask me to do, but please, may my children go to the university, pass exams. May my marriage of my kids will be good and successful. My business, this, that. This problem I have to solve. I will give you everything, but solve this for me. This bargaining is actually very insincere. But even then, the grace may answer. And Mother even says, you can ask me anything. Just ask me what you want, what you need. Just tell me, I need this. So it may be granted. Because it doesn't matter really. What matters is that the divine is building its own world. It uses all the resources, all the people, all the openings, in the way it wants to do it. So
Vladimir, I have a question.
yes, the
Do sacrifices bring in transformation?
sacrifice is transformation.
So if the gods are also in a way being sacrificed, what happens actually? What happens to them?
To them, yes, they grow in consciousness. It is through us, through the psychic beings, that they can grow and change. They are actually typal beings. Yes, they don't change. But through sacrifice, they grow and change. This is the secret of their attraction to Yajamana, to this psychic being who does offering. So Agni, interestingly, immortal among mortals, yes, it is him. We are the spark of that flame who are doing the offering and grow in light. We grow, we evolve. And with why we evolve? Because he, the divine, the supreme, wanted to be many. So we are the sparks of his being, growing here in consciousness and power and awareness all the time. And through our growth, growing how? By offering, by taking all that which is not yet divine and make it divine. Yes, by what? By offering it to this flame who will bring the right powers to act upon this being and change it into the divine prototype. Yeah? So this ongoing process, calling for betterment, for growth of our consciousness, is done by this flame within. And the gods whom he brings down, titled universal powers, by engaging with this growing supreme within, have some touch from that, or some change in their consciousness. As it is said in the Veda, even great godheads such as Mitra and Varuna grow in consciousness and reach the place or the throne from which they can see deity and aditi. There is the whole hymn to it. So through sacrifice, they reach to the consciousness of the Supreme, which they don't have. So they can see transcendental in this world together. And this is the most attractive proposition for them. So the gods are also growing, but through us, not without us. Interesting, yeah? So human beings play here a very special role for the gods also. For all these devatas, these devatas which are staying behind the nakshatras. If you see the description of nakshatras, each nakshatra has a particular devata behind. And their investment into our growth is fundamental. Yes, we take all the materials from the cosmos, the physical, vital, mental material. We build up of this being. So they invested into us. But now, with this spark, Yajamana, we start changing it. Yeah? And that is for them the most precious food, soma. We generate soma here, which they want most, because this experience of change they cannot have, only through us. It's an amazing vision, actually, which may answer all the questions. What we are here for, what this cosmos is about, and what these devatas behind this cosmos are doing and what they are looking for, and why the sacrifice, why this vision of the change, and why Agni is sacrificing the gods. It's also interesting because somewhere Mother describes this sacrifice. She says it is two-way traffic. Yeah? So it's not only we sacrifice to the gods something which we want to change, yes, to make divine, but also the divine is being sacrificed. And this is the Holocaust of the Divine Mother, as Ashir Bindu says, sacrifice of the Purusha. He gave his faculties away into the darkness they plunged to bring back the fallen being. So this great sacrifice of the divine is done for the sake of us here to know how to do and to be with our being, fallen being. It's an example because our fallen being does not know how to give itself. So by this example of the divine giving itself to us, we learn constantly and becoming able to transform ourselves, grow in consciousness. So this is the idea. Yeah? That's why he sacrifices the gods.
So beautiful.
Mm. So it's as in Chandogya it is said, I am always quoting this, for human beings, the heaven is heaven. We all want to go to heaven. But for the gods, the heaven is earth and the earth is heaven. Now, if you think about it, you will see this double way of the sacrifice. Gods are attracted to earth because through earth, through this involvement in the sacrifice, they grow in consciousness. They can change. And you know what Mother says about earth, that it is only in the physical body, only on earth, that the change in consciousness is possible. It's the only place where evolution of consciousness can take place. Otherwise, there are many creatures in the universe, but they are not evolving. If they want to evolve, they have to take a physical, earthly body, a human body. That means they will have that spark of the psychic in them, because Earth is the psychic being of the universe. It is whoever takes body here on Earth gets the influence of Earth, and that spark starts to live in him. Even great gods, even Asuras, says the Mother, if they, or Sri Aurobindo, if they want to change, they have to take a human body. So our Earth is very special. And Agni is the immortal among mortals, the flame which does the whole journey of the sacrifice, leads us forward, brings the forces needed for transformation, and provides for us the movement forward. Without him, sacrifice is not possible, transformation is not possible, growth of consciousness, evolution is not possible, the world is not possible. The world as we know it.
So we have such a divine purpose. We have to realize that, the divine purpose in our life.
Absolutely. We are so special, so rare beings in the universe, in this physical body, living. Just think about it. This physical body given to you, charged with consciousness, and we are using it for the lower forces and lower desires and lower kind of. If we start observing this, we would be ashamed how we are wasting our time. How many forces try to possess this frame, because this is the Lord himself growing here in his desire to be many. So every force wants to have it. Of course, we have many challenges because of that. But the sacrifice is the only way out. This is our purpose. We are transforming stations for the universe. It is through us that the universe will grow in consciousness. And if we don't grow, then of course, then we go down. And then we will finish today the hymn. Sanach sindhum iva navaya ati parsha suastaye apanach shoshuchad agham. As in a ship over the ocean, bear us over into thy felicity. Burn away from us the sin. So what this burn away from us the sin is actually transformation. Yes? That sin, with those forces which are not divine and want to survive and want to enjoy the divine manifestation and even grow in it, aggrandize themselves. They are all coming to us. But Agni is that divine will in us who will take their claim over our body and change it into the divine forces and qualities. They are all longing to us, not because they want actually to possess us, though they want, but they want a transformation. They themselves want to become the divine. That's why they come to us as the option to grow in consciousness. So, and we have to give them place in this sacrifice and offer all of them, of those who come forth us, to flame, that he will burn them, cleanse them, and reveal in them the divine properties. So this is the last thing. We finished the hymn. If you have some thoughts, ideas, please go ahead. I'm sure I'm repeating myself how many times I spoke about the sacrifice. I do not know. So you bear with me if I repeat again and again.
Vladimir, I'm just wondering about what is the best way to live. And once we've made this internal sacrifice, we still have to function in the world. There's things we have to do, little activities. Is not the execution of those little duties that we have to do, that's also an offering, isn't it? That frees us. And we're doing that in the physical world.
Yeah. There are two yogas are going on. One is the yoga of Prakriti. Yeah? Prakriti is doing yoga of Purusha anyhow. So whatever the duties you have, dharmas, you have to follow. Whatever was created by Prakriti, you will be part of that process, whether you want it or not. So all life is yoga. You're struggling there, struggling here. You will be fulfilling her purpose, definitely. So you may not even be aware of what you do. You become a food for others. You become the support for someone who will do the breakthrough. Doesn't matter. Matters that you will be used by Prakriti anyhow in the view of Purusha, in his command. Here we are talking about something more, to become conscious and aware of the very purpose of life. And that changes considerably all attitudes towards everything we do. So we don't live for the sake of, fulfilling some duties of Prakriti. We are not instrumental anymore. We are conscious beings. It doesn't mean that we will do something else. It means we will do the same. We will go to work, we will eat, we will cook, and so on. We will take care of others. We will do the same, but the awareness of it will change the whole quality of relations. And the growth of consciousness will be intensified. I think so, yeah. Maybe it's not very satisfactory answer, but it is not about what, it is about how you do this.
Yeah, how much awareness of this process we have inside us when we're performing all these activities.
Right. What is happening to your mind, to your feeling, to your thought in the process of life? Yes. What do you see when you look at life and yourself? What are you looking for in it? Yeah. So that changes dramatically. Today I was feeding the cats and played with the cat, and I was thinking about this, deep philosophical question about life. How food, hunger leads us all, drives us all. But once hunger is satiated, there is this life force, beaming. So this cat, when it is fed, it is happy, there is sun. it is jumping, it is running. But when there is no food, no sun, then everything goes down, everything shrinks. So this sacrifice is going on, you know? Everything is being sacrificed for the cat to live and to enjoy life and to reveal some truth of the being in this form, in this not totally perfect form yet, but perfect in itself. So these are the thoughts when you are playing with a cat. I'm just giving an example how things happen to those who think about it. Yes, Kinshuk.
Vladimir, I was just thinking of, this poetry of Shelley has always impressed me. The one about that Ozymandias' head rolling in the sand. I forget the name of the poem, but this king who built a big statue and then his head, he told the gods that this is something that the gods would also envy. And then after some years, the head was found rolling in the sand. So I guess if I were, the king who wanted to build such a statue as part of my daily life, I would laugh at it if I had some inner sight, uh, isn't it? So that would change my daily routine considerably. I would not pay it that much attention.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. All this kind of vanity which we believe, but this is Prakriti's yoga, yes? She wants to catch us into that kind of format of, pride and this and achievement and the name and the fame and the rest, because this is her tools by which she operates in the inconscient world, in the world where consciousness is lacking. So how would you operate? By what force if the awareness is not there? So you create those tools which are pushing us. Kings are fighting for some pride and some nonsense, but they kill others, and others are fighting. Everybody is fighting. Fighting for what? What is happening really? We are all fighting. It's a non-stop fight, actually. Sacrifice is a fight, is a battlefield. Yeah? With ourselves, with our weaknesses, with our kind of resistances and so on. And it is a journey at the same time. Journey and a fight. And the farther we go, the more fight grows. The greater beings come to fight. Yeah? The titans come to meet us on the way. The stronger you become, the more responsibility. With great strength comes the greater responsibility. Remember this. Spider-Man. His uncle was telling him. So this is that. You have greater strength, divine strength. Look at what Sri Aurobindo and the mother did. It's incredible from the point of view of meeting these resistances and forces. We would be smashed and crushed. We are protected by our weakness. Yeah? We receive only those resistances which we can handle. So we are all doing one work, growing in consciousness. We provide, look at this evolution, what a beautiful evolution took place from amoeba, a monocellular organism. We evolved into these beings, with eyes, ears, brains. We can speak, think, feel. We can think about the spirit, invite the forces, and it all evolved into this, body. Amazing. It's an amazing enterprise, anyway. Consciousness is constantly growing, whether we want it or not, it will grow. And the yoga will be done, and we will arrive. But it's only a question whether we want to be part of it. And somewhere we may presume that nature needs us now to speed up the evolution. She created conscious beings, mental beings, who now could choose what to do, going against their instincts.
So we're invited to the adventure of consciousness and joy,
Right.
and we have to accept or decline the invitation.
Right. Or to become
Invited to
indifferent
accept
because
it.
we don't see anything there. Yes.
Yeah,
And many people don't see anything there because their mind is not yet tuned. And many people tuned their mind in religious terms and they believe in it, but it is again another distortion. But all of these distortions, resistances, they are all used by the divine to move forward anyhow. So we are all doing one work. So it's a
Vladimir,
good news. Yes, Dirti.
when we are aware, there is an aspiration within, and I mean, it's like almost like invoking Agni, and something as kind of transformation happens. But if we are not aware, if we are very mechanical, who does the invoking? I mean, does it happen at all, or does
It happens in spite of us being aware or unaware. And this is a big surprise because then when we discover that we were actually always calling and always the answer was coming, but we were not aware on the surface of being, this is a surprise. When we become aware on the surface, that means it already built the bridges. Yes? So the inner being reached closer to the surface and we become aware of it. And then we take this charge of ourselves. We think that we are invoking. Let me invoke, I think, with my mind. Let me sit in meditation now, I think, with my mind. And I think that I am doing it. And then it answers to me, this surface being. It's not like that. Yeah? There is an inner being which is constantly calling. And what I'm doing, I'm building a bridge with that inner being to become aware this on the surface. And then it grows in power and awareness, takes more of my surface being into its own charge and offers it to the higher force. This is the sacrifice. And there is no other sacrifice. There's always within ourselves. Yes, some more. There is Anna here, there is Mila here from Moscow. Interesting. Jessel joined us. Hi, Jessel. We have a nice group, very silent group.
So I had a question,
Yes, Jessel.
and actually today I was just writing this that you know, even what you feel you want to do in your life or what you think, it keeps changing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, and something that gives you that openness, and suddenly then it's done, and then you need to move.
Yeah, but that's what is not changing. Notice, let us notice what is not changing. When everything changes, there's something which is not changing. And that would be that flame, yeah? That flame wanting more and more to grow awareness in whatever the power, the presence, the truth, the light, the bliss. It would want to stay and grow whatever you do. You may change all your activities up, yeah. It's not about what you do, it's how you do it, who you are there in that activity. Why not change your activities? It's good. Actually, it must be changed. And even philosophies and even views on life have to be changed. We should not be stuck to one system of thought. We should change languages. It's very useful to change languages.
Yeah. You've had that experience, of course,
Right.
remarkably. And I was just thinking that change is part of the evolutionary process. We can't evolve without changing our perspective on things and what we want to do and how we see the world.
Yeah. And by that we change the world at the same time. Yeah. There's something happening in the world, and many times we are drawn to that change of the world because we become instrumental to that change. So Prakriti is using us, and we are not even aware that it is happening. But something belongs to us. That flame belongs to us anyhow. And if it grows, we are on the right track. If it doesn't, then something is not totally okay. Then we have to take care of that flame. We have to kindle it again. And yes.
So how do we know?
How do we do? You tell me how we do.
Actually, you come to know.
How do we kindle the flame? Some ideas. Let's share your ideas. How do you kindle the flame?
So I go back to doing things that kindled my frame. So being in a space, or so going to Pondicherry is one of them. Like being near the Samadhi, or being in Golkund, or I think I'm attending this class after very long, and I was very disturbed. I was feeling very lost. So I'm like, okay, let me attend this class, and I'm going to feel aligned, and I am feeling aligned. So I think just doing things that that connect you, and just it's like that's just putting away all the unnecessary things. So
Yeah. This is one of the ways you go to the temple, you go to meditation, you just open the book, read the page from Savitri, from Ramayana, and it tunes you and then it puts you on the track again, and all that memory and all that experience you had before is restarted, rekindled, rebooted again, or in a new manner.
true.
This is
But
what
then
we usually do. Yes.
yeah, but then you're again just put into a situation where you kind of, so I experienced this, and again you're like put into the situation where you're going to be tested, right?
Kind of, yeah, tested.
Yeah.
It's truly you're never tested. It's something in you which wants to think that way. Yes.
Okay.
We are always kind of afraid and that we will not pass the test. It's our mind.
Yeah, it's in the mind. Okay, that's a good lesson.
I have a thought on this.
Yeah.
I think hardship is what makes people yearn for, or what kindles the fire within. If life is too easy, if you satisfy all of your desires and everything is comfortable, then you have no reason to grow. You have no reason to move. But try fasting for a few days, a week or so, and then life will have a lot of meaning.
Yeah.
And yes, you will yearn for this internal fire.
Right. Hunger. Fire is the hunger.
If you read about Saint Francis, his whole life was a practice of doing this. And that's what kindled such tremendous fire in him.
This is a very, how to say, perfect, very powerful device, but it is half spiritual, yeah, in my view. I believe there is more direct sunlit path, without this hardship, without ascetics, ascesis, without without a hardship, we don't know what is life and so on. Why? Yes, that's why we are forced. That's why we have hardships, because otherwise we would become lazy. But there is a time, or there is a stage in which you can't live without it. Whether you are in a comfortable or uncomfortable situation, doesn't matter. When everything is given to you as it is given to me now, it's the first time in my life that I got everything. Physically, I mean, physically to live. Just live, have everything. And you will be surprised that it is not that what you're looking for. You know it immediately, you see it. So I'm very happy that I see it instead of, buying it in and then disappearing in the ordinary way of living. Ordinary way of living is not attracting you so much.
You have to have reached a certain stage in order to appreciate that. I think when we're young, you have to go through certain disciplines, certain challenges. Then you can appreciate what you're talking about. If you have everything handed to you on a silver platter, no, I don't think you appreciate it. You become crazy.
Yeah, maybe. But I was given everything on the silver platter in America because I never earned it. I never worked for money, actually, and this is funny. Because I lived in Oroville 27 years, it was a very different life. So there is a different way of looking at your life. Suppose you don't have food enough, so you are hungry. You appreciate even that stage, because it makes you're not complaining to the divine that you know that this is the time for that. So can you use that time for discovering the divine? As Sri Aurobindo says, if you are born in poverty, you have to learn to live in poverty in a, how he said with gratitude or something to the divine, because you can enjoy everything. There is nothing you cannot enjoy in the divine sense. You can see this in India, those poor people on the streets, sitting there with their children. They are smiling, they're happy. The smallest thing is making them happy. And they're, even without anything, in the dust, they're playing some kind of sticks or stones. And there is so much laughter, so much. So I want to say that this idea of having or being are two different ideas. You may have everything and lack being, or you can be having nothing. But this hardship is true, what you said. It actually forces us. Pain is forcing us to progress when we become lazy and unconscious. It's true. Because our being is like this. It's very unconscious. But there comes a stage where that does not matter really what you have around you. What matters is what you whether you have that connection, that presence or not. And then you love everything and everyone, and rich and poor, you have no difference. You just dislike only when the things are being pretended, when things are not true, pretending to be true when they are not. This you can't take. Something turns you away. But even that you can embrace somehow.
On a humorous,
yes, David.
Sorry. On a humorous note, when Robin was mentioning that, I was imagining this pressure cooker. There are times when I feel like I'm put inside a pressure cooker. So much happening at the same time. Then when you shared, I was thinking, okay, the rice inside the cooker is right in Vladimir's case, so no more of cooking for him. But for people like me, still happening.
Yeah, the part of our vital being, mental being is under pressure cooker always, yes? But there is a divine presence which actually justifies all pressure cooker, and it doesn't see it in that way. Even death does not matter. Can you imagine death and destruction, pain? Looks like the event on the path. So it is that presence, as Mother says. Even if thousands of lightnings will break over your head, they will not be able to disturb your peace. So this state we are looking for, and once you had a taste of it, or once you experience that, you don't want anything else. You want to move in that direction. You want to be that always, in whatever circumstances.
True.
So, it's 11 o'clock. Great, we finished the hymn. We will take another hymn next time. Thank you for being together. We have such a nice group, such a lovely group. Seekers together, we are seeking the knowledge. Lovely. So thank you and namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.